welcome to Creating Spaces. I'm your host, Chris Taylor. Today I have with me from Tar Heel Basement Systems, Pete Burgess and Will Blake. Welcome, guys.
Thanks, Chris. Glad to be here.
Thanks a lot, Chris.
Well, happy to have you. Today we wanted to just to talk with you guys about you guys are basement, crawl space, and structural repair experts.
Yes.
And you know, the purpose of this show really is to help homeowners understand what's going on in their homes, give them a perspective of some of the solutions that are available, and maybe it could be some help to them. So why don't we talk a little bit about, I know crawl spaces is something that you guys deal with frequently. And what are some of the issues, like when you get a call from a homeowner, concerned homeowner, that they have, you know, crawl space issues? What are some of the things that you have to work through with them?
Want me to take that, Will?
Yeah.
Some of the calls have to do with odors in the house, and these, many cases, are odors upstairs in bedrooms and rooms above dirt crawl spaces. And when we talk about a dirt crawl space or a crawl space, Chris, we're talking about a space that's like a basement in some cases. Other times it's just an area for crawling on your hands and knees. Mm-hmm. But the floor is dirt. And for years, these dirt crawl spaces were covered, or the dirt floor was covered with a thin plastic material, and vents were added to the foundations to allegedly alleviate the moisture problems that arose from naturally occurring moisture in the soil. But the problems, you know, that the homeowners complain about are musty odors, mildew in upstairs closets. In some real estate transactions, the home inspector will find mold on the floor framing, which is the underside of the main floor that's over the crawl space. Some homeowners use their crawl spaces for storage, and they may have gone in there and found that the things they've stored in there are covered with mildew and mold. They may even see water, you know, puddles of water in their crawl space. So these are some of the pretty common things that we hear about in relation to crawl spaces.
And to elaborate on that, a lot of the problems Pete was describing is what a lot of our customers that have dirt crawl spaces really see in the summer months. But even in the winter months, we find evidence of cold floors, freezing pipes, and more importantly, high energy bills. That's what a lot of our customers see that have these vented dirt crawl spaces.
What is the primary service area that you guys handle? You know, what are the areas that you go into?
Well, we cover essentially all the way from the Winston-Salem Triad area, located in the Piedmont of North Carolina, as far west as the Abingdon, Bristol areas of Tennessee, Virginia, North Carolina.
I see. So now that we've kind of outlined what you find as far as the problems, let's talk about some of the solutions that you're offering. From what I'm hearing, correct me if I'm wrong, so you're finding water, everything from water seepage to moisture problems to sometimes even mold, mm-hmm. Correct? So when you go in and you talk with a customer and they describe these issues, you do your inspection and you find out the problems are going on, what are some of the things that you're recommending?
Well, we basically go in and evaluate the situation, and depending on what we find, we're going to recommend a solution to specifically take care of those problems that we find. Moisture is the big issue in dirt crawl spaces, and whether or not the moisture comes from water intrusion or just air infiltration from outside during the summer months like Will talked about, or out of the ground, which it does 24 hours a day. Generally speaking, what we'll do is we want to reduce that moisture level in the crawl space, and if it's reduced down below 65% relative humidity, that way we can control mold growth in the crawl space. And the mold.
So you say reduce moisture growth. So let's get specific now. What are some of the specific things we do to stop that?
Well, we go in and we clean out a dirt crawl space, get all the organic material cleaned out off the floor.
Organic material?
Organic is our materials that used to grow. construction debris, cardboard that's left under there from HVAC contractors, cardboard, any type of leaves and roots and so on that may be left under there. Many dirt crawl spaces have a lot of debris left over. And organic means that that was something that used to grow.
I see.
And that's what mold will grow on. So we'll clean that out and we'll install a heavy-duty vapor barrier in the crawl space. It's sealed to the walls and the piers. We close the vents permanently. I know that runs counter to what a lot of people have thought for years, but the fact of the matter is that open or vented crawl spaces had no scientific basis whatsoever. And now it's been proven scientifically that if you close the crawl space, vents, seal air out, make sure that you don't have water intrusion into the crawl space, and then you dehumidify the air with a properly sized dehumidifier, we can control the relative humidity in a crawl space. And again, the goal is to control that humidity year-round so that it doesn't get high enough to promote mold growth.
Okay. So we're controlling mold growth, and what are some of the other benefits you see that you're by handling these kind of issues?
Well, you know, since we've opened in 2003, especially with our crawl space repair side of our business, the visual effect that we get compliments on from our customers is always the first that really pops into our message boards, in our mailbox, even on our phones. But immediately after, customers are noticing more of a benefit from less allergies, less of that musty, damp feeling, or even smells in their home, even all the way down to cozier floors in a living environment up above the dirt crawl space.
So you're talking about air quality when it comes to allergens and those kinds of things. So are you finding that by addressing the crawl space, you're actually getting a benefit air quality wise in the upstairs?
Oh, absolutely. And a lot of people don't associate the crawl space with sharing the air that you're breathing every day. In fact, sometimes 50, even higher percentages of air from your crawl space ends up in your living space. And with a lot of customers in our area, if you have an air handler, meaning a furnace or an air conditioning that sits in the crawl space, that is a large vacuum helping pull that air up into the living space.
Pete, before the show, you had mentioned to me about the stack effect. You were explaining how that. Why don't you, for our viewers, why don't you go ahead and explain a little bit about that? It helped me get a handle on what's going on.
Sure. The stack effect is simply the air dynamic in a house, and warm air rises. I mean, we can see that in the clouds in the summertime. People who burn wood in their fireplace know that fireplaces need to draw air, because the warm air that's heated by the burning logs are going to go out the top. Same thing in a house. Houses during the summer months and the winter months have warm air in them, and that warm air rises, and as it escapes the upper reaches of the house through ridge venting and gable venting, which is part of the construction of the house, that house needs to replace that air. And so the stack effect basically says that as that air goes out the top, the house needs replacement air. Where does it get it? It gets it in any opening in the structure, and primarily in the crawl space, that's going to be your foundation vents, which the building people told us incorrectly years ago to add to the structure. So once you close that off, then what you've done is you've changed the stack effect to a great degree, and slowed the air that's being pulled in from the outside in a crawl space, and that then reduces the amount of moisture in the summer months that is pulled into the crawl space. And that's the stack effect is what helps exacerbate the moisture issue in a crawl space during the summer months.
Yeah, and to help put what Pete, his 10-minute answer to layman terms,
Yeah.
is your crawl space inhales,
Yeah.
your attic exhales.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
So, and keep in mind that motion is constantly going from bottom to top throughout the home. So automatically imagine inhaling through the dirt crawl space in bottom of the house, exhaling through the top.
Yeah,
Okay.
good description. Also, Will mentioned a little while ago the energy savings by closing a crawl space.
Right.
So, that's very important in today's world, when energy prices are so high. So people can save a lot of money by closing up a crawl space. They can save a lot of energy money by closing up a crawl space. So I just want to make sure that the viewers understand
So
that.
essentially, if you're saving energy, right, over time, the system will pay for itself.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and much quicker than one may think.
Yeah, especially with the energy prices today. Any way we can save energy is always a good thing.
Right.
That's right.
So, okay, when we come back, we're going to talk about basement problems. That's one of the other things that Tar Heel Basement Systems handles. So we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back.